Um, there are also different kinds of paywalls, and so you've probably run into these. I pulled the Wall Street Journals because that's the one I think that has probably the most strict.
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't let you get really anywhere except for the first, paragraph. Other publications, I think The Atlantic and maybe Slate, they have something. They have like a soft paywall where you get 3 articles or something like that, and after that point, I think you can't read them again until the following week or something like that. So all these different publications are kind of handling this differently. But here's that stat that I referenced. It's actually 10% of online readers drive more than 74% of revenue. So that's just interesting to think about in terms of who can afford access to these publications and how reliant the publications are on those people who can afford to subscribe. Okay. So again, all of this stuff, you can find it on our website, and we're always trying to, arrange it better so that it's easier to find. One of the things we added recently off to the left here, you'll see this little magazines button. And there's a tab where all of our digital resources sort of hang out on the website. That's the digital library tab. And in addition to the newspapers and magazines, you can find other things accessible through the state library. And you can also find information about our like streaming services like Canopy, so you can watch movies from home, and also Overdrive, which is ebooks and audiobooks, which a lot of people are already using. That's one of the more popular services. Yeah, Sharon.
What's the difference between Libby and Overdrive?
There's actually no difference in terms of the holdings. It's just they created Libby to be a little bit more user friendly. So it's the same collection of materials, and you access the same stuff. It's just that was their attempt to make it easier to use, which the jury's kind of out if it's
Yeah.
acceptable. But so I'm actually gonna close out of this for a minute and just go to our actual website. And that way you can kind of see. Okay. So I'll start off with the magazines. That one's really easy to get to because it just takes you straight to the state library page with all the popular magazines. And it is a pretty impressive list of stuff here. Most of the ones that you would want to read are going to be found here. The Atlantic, the New Yorker, Consumer Reports, they have People. So it's worth just kind of scrolling through and taking a look and seeing, what's available to you. But all of these little symbols are links that will take you to where you can search through that publication. The magazines are a little bit easier to search through than the newspapers, and we'll get into like why later. But all of these resources, the newspapers and the magazines through the state library, it's sourced through either EBSCO or ProQuest, which are the really big database vendors. So it's not, that being said, this stuff is all free and it's paid for by the state library, but it is a little bit clunkier to search through. It's not quite as nice of a layout as if you were going to subscribe to one of these publications. But what makes the magazines easier to search through, I'll just go to The Atlantic. It's the first one on the list here. Yes, okay, so here it is. When you're accessing this from home or outside of the library, it's going to ask you to sign in. And you see all you really have to do is just enter your card. I will put mine in here in the good faith that nobody will steal my library identity or something. Okay. So then it takes you to this, it gives you some details about the publication, but if you look over to the right, it gives you a year-by-year breakdown of the different issues and articles. So most people are probably just going to want to look at, one issue in particular rather than search through the publication as a whole. So if you click on one of these, it gives you the issue number and the time, the date. So I'll go to the most recent one here. And it sets it up, this is what I mean, where if you're accessing it through EBSCO, it's not going to look like the actual magazine. It just gives you a breakdown of all the articles that are contained in that issue. And so you can then download the PDF, and I'll do that in just a second. Let's see. All right, let's do this one. And from there, it's pretty simple. Oh, this one they actually do provide the images. That's really nice. Not all of them do, so that's great.
Can you send this article to someone that you want to know about the COVID vaccine, or is it just for your personal use?
So you can download them, yes.
Yes.
So you would be able to download the article and then attach it in an email to somebody.
I see that. Just press that download button and.
Yep, that's right. Yep, and it'll save somewhere on your computer. So this is actually a good example, because some of the magazines I can't quite get rhyme or reason. That's probably the vending side of things, but some of them it just gives you a text, right? Like it gives you just the text of the article without all of the images. This looks like a pretty directly like scanned version of the magazine,
Right.
which is really nice. And again, I think that just varies by publication. Are there any questions so far about magazines?
Do you think it's better to use the PDF or that HTML?
The PDF would be the one that you want. Yeah, the HTML I think would be just the text, but we can actually check. So let me go back here and I'll go to the same article. Yeah, so this is just the text version, and that might be good if you want to just copy and paste quickly,
Oh, good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, a short excerpt, because you can't really do that on the PDF. They're like images of a page. And you can also, another quick thing, say you were looking for just a certain phrase or a certain name or something like that, you can always go to the text, the HTML version, and on Windows it's Control F, and on Mac it's Command F, and you can just search a specific phrase. So I don't really have a good example for this one, but let's say I wanted to find Biden, and he doesn't show up here, surprisingly, but what about New York? And then you hit enter and it will take you to every time it's mentioned in the article.
Could you go back to where that box is to type it in?
Do you mean this one or?
Yeah. So this time use Fauci. Start all over again and see.
Okay, yep. So it just appears when you hit either Command F or Control F.
Yep. Okay.
And then, yeah, I'll try Fauci. Is it
1C, I think.
1C, okay, yep. Yeah. So he's in here 5 times.
Okay. Oh, and then it just goes right to it.
Yep, you just keep hitting enter and it will carry you down the page.
That's a great feature.
Yeah, and that's anything on the internet you can do that with. It saves a lot of time. Okay. Let me go back to my little slideshow here. Whoops. So there is a pretty good variety of magazines. You'll notice that heading, I took a screenshot from the site. It says popular magazines, public libraries. There are some other ones, but they're done by like demographics. So some of them are school-aged kids. Some of them are, I think there's one like publications for librarians.
What if you wanted to search? I see vegan cooking. Yeah, you don't know if there's a magazine for it.
So all the, hang on, let me exit out of here again. And I'm gonna go back. And back again. So again, if you wanna, I don't think that one's on here, but you'll notice on this little sidebar, they list out kind of all the different resources they have available. So we're on the Popular Magazine's public libraries page. The other ways they break it down are high school, middle school, elementary school, and then magazines and journals for librarians. So this is the one that I think most people in the public would want to visit. Let's see.
So if it doesn't have a graphic, it's not on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't look like they really have any cooking ones, but.
And not a, oh, there's Newsweek. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So to go back to this slide quickly. So the pros of it, they do have the latest issues available. I'm not exactly sure how quickly, like if it gets uploaded the day that you can get it in print or not, but it's really soon after. Obviously there's no paywall blocks because the library is, funding your access. You can get it from home. The problem is that it can be difficult. I guess it can be difficult unless you know what exact issue you're going to. It can be a little challenging sometimes to find stuff through the EBSCO database, unless you're used to like using them and using advanced search and all that stuff. In fact, we might just, so let me go back to it just so you know that that is an option that you can do. This time I'll try Newsweek. Maybe I guess they do only let you search by issue. Oh no, search within, okay, there we go. So I'll back up here so you can see that. So you can go to a particular issue, or they say search within this publication. So that's going to search through every issue that they have available of Newsweek, and they've already populated this. That probably stands for journal or something like that. And then you could search by, keywords. So I might just put, and of course, if you search, one term, you're going to get a huge list. Oh, there's only 5. Okay. Well, that worked out in this case. But you do have the advanced search option. So if you had done something, I don't know, book. There we go. Okay, 5,000 something. So at any rate, you can advance search through the whole publication, and you might have a couple keyword searches, and it lets you do it by date. So you might want a range of years rather than just one issue. It helps to have like a specific kind of inquiry to look through. Does anybody have questions about advanced search? You can kind of peruse through and see.
Yep.
Okay. So newspapers is a little bit, I mean, it's not difficult to find, but we don't have a nice big button on the website yet for it. So let me go back to our, so in general, all of our electronic resources are under digital library. You can just click on the tab and it gives you information about the other stuff. The state library's kind of research hub is called Research at CT. And there's a brief description here. But if you click on that little logo, it'll take you to the main page. And so again, this is where we were just here under popular magazines.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to this section, newspapers, It has a whole bunch of stuff that you can go through, and some of them are historic. They're digitized, like older historic newspapers, and some of them are like currently circulating. So you can see the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. I think the easiest way to access this stuff is if you were on the Wall Street Journal and you had a specific article that you were looking for that you got kind of barred out from. You would be able to go into the Wall Street Journal. It's asking for my barcode again. And what you're able to do is just type that article title in quotes, and it will return that exact title. And that's just really great for you're researching something and you find an article online that you really want to, you know, the exact title, and you know, you don't have to kind of cumbersomely dig through the EBSCO stuff. You can just make sure you put it in quotes, and then, you know, type it out and hit enter, and it will return that specific article to you. And in
That's
fact,
excellent.
I wonder if we can do example here. And this will test too if it's the day of. So let's try this one. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy paste this. Let's see if they're updated, because that looks like it was from today. Nope, not yet. So again, it's hard to know exactly. Let me try a different one.
But now you're reading it.
Well, see, then you scroll.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do something that was from a few months ago, so we know. Nope, that's not even Wall Street Journal. Okay, so let's try this headline. There we go. So then you see, you know, the same date, 13th of December. And again, they have the full text option here. I think it's the same thing in this case, yeah. So they don't have the scanned image like they do at the magazine, but you do have access now to the full article. Whereas before, I think it cut off after like the fourth paragraph or something. So I think that's the most useful way to go about handling this resource. Is when you're stuck on Google, you get trapped behind the paywall, and then you can just copy paste the exact title. You can search in other ways. So let me go back here. It's just maybe a little bit more cumbersome. And most of these like the database sites, they do have search tips you can take a look at, which is really helpful because they have all sorts of weird technical codes and stuff. And I mean, I don't know about you all, but even just looking at all this doesn't look like it's going to save us much time. So, but you can go to advanced search, and the publication date is probably the greatest use of your time here. So you can do it. They unfortunately only do the most recent is the last 7 days, but you could at least say, you know, Fauci, and we'll say pandemic. And let's just see in the last 7 days how much stuff that brings back. So 18 articles, which isn't so bad. But that's kind of, if you, oh, I didn't, oh no, I meant Fauci, okay. Um, so that is another useful way to go about it, is if you have it, if you're looking for timely articles about a specific topic, you can search the last 7 days and go through it like that. The other thing that they have, I mentioned the historical newspapers. So some of those are through, they're kind of a hodgepodge of different locations. Um, so let's see, the Connecticut Digital Newspaper Project, I think that brings you to the Library of Congress. Yeah, it does. So back a few months ago, I had looked through, I think it was the Norwich paper. Let's see if it's on here. Yeah, it was the Norwich Bulletin, but I was looking for kind of local stuff about the influenza pandemic in 1918, but this is all through the Library of Congress, and they have, digitized newspapers for every state. So this is a great resource if you're looking for, what were people writing about a historic event, rather than current events.
If you want to check the day your grandmother was born or something.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to go into the Norwich Bulletin. And again, you enter your search words, and you can select the dates that you're specifically looking through. So I think what I had done was, I think I had put something like 1918 to 1919 or something. And I looked for stuff like influenza. Didn't like that. Okay, that's a lot of results.
They might have called it something else though, like the Spanish flu or.
I think you're right, yeah. Yeah, fewer. And I can't tell if they need you to use and. No, I don't think they do. Oops. Huh. Yeah, and then they have a few ways you can sort, but there must be an advanced search.
Is
Oh,
the red highlighting the words you were looking for, or?
it is, yeah. So what's great about these, I have no idea how much time and work went into that, but it's not a static image. You're able to actually search by word for all of these
Wow.
yeah, which is, I mean, I don't even know how much time that would have taken, but it's a really, really great resource. And I didn't even notice the advanced search tab is up here. Oh, but that's for the whole thing. So that's for like every newspaper that they have like cataloged here. So I'll hop back here. So the contemporary ones, New York Times, the Journal, the Post, they all kind of pretty much look like what we just went through with the Wall Street Journal. This is the one, honestly, this one's kind of the trickiest to search through. It's through the state library, and you might, between the Library of Congress project and this one, you can find a really good amount of the historic newspapers. And this is, yeah, the Connecticut Digital Archive is where these are sourced. Let's try that again. I just got on this earlier, but maybe they're, huh. Well, that shouldn't be happening. They might be doing maintenance or something like that. Well, I'll leave that alone for now. Similar pros and cons as the magazine stuff. Um, again, I think the most helpful is just searching a specific article. And it's a little bit unclear how often they, like, I'm not sure if they upload the day after. So it might be that you can read yesterday's paper today. But they have stuff within the last week. So I'm not totally certain, and it might vary by publication. Another thing to note is that especially when you're digging through the digitized stuff on the Library of Congress website, it takes a long time. It's a time and labor intensive process to find exactly what you're looking for sometimes. So that's why you can reach out to your librarians and ask for help, because that's what we're here to do. So I was gonna just kind of open it up for some questions, like, what were you hoping to access by learning about these resources? And do you feel like you have a way to do that now, or you still have things you're not certain of?
I think I just have to play around with it, but I didn't realize it was going to be this easy.
Oh, that's good to hear.
At least to get into it,
Right.
then to find what you're looking for. There are two things that I specifically was looking for. One was I was wondering, I knew the library, you could look up consumer reports through the library, but I didn't know how.
Mm.
So now, like if I want to, I'm looking for a coffee pot and I'm trying to find out consumer reports about a coffee pot, that would be great. The other thing is that I don't read the New York Times, but I would love to look at the book section.
Yeah.
I'd love to look at the arts and theater section. Not right now, the arts and theater, but you know what I mean? That I didn't realize I could do that without having a stack of paper in my home.
Right. Yeah. 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 And I think, well, that's a good. Let me go look at that now. So we'll back up here. I don't know if it lets you do it by section, but certainly you'd be able to look up, arts and theater. With the New York Times, I did want to show you. It's not actually not it's not a resource that we.
Not a magazine.
Oh yes, thank you. I'm like, why am I not seeing it? New York Times. I wonder if, oh no, there we go. Oh, it even remembers my search. Oh, what if it goes by publications? Oh, well, they let you search specifically the book review. That's pretty cool. And the magazine too. But they don't have a breakdown for sections, it doesn't look like. But yeah, like you said, just playing around with it and just doing some practice searches is the best way to get a handle on it. In total, let's say, what did you said? Arts and theater, was it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm in publication search. And of course, you could do it by date. Okay, 1 to 20. And that's just going to come up with the, that's set as keyword. So it's not, some of the stuff, it might just be, it references theater in a different article, but.
Well, just the fact that you just showed that you could look up the book section or book review, or you could look up the magazine section, that would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I also did want to, for the New York Times in particular, again, this is in our library, but I was a reference librarian at Acton, and I just think this is a great, you know, I didn't realize that you could even do this, but you don't need a library card. You don't need to do anything. You can just, go to their website and their online resources. All this other stuff you need an Acton card for, but you can get complimentary access to the New York Times, and we're looking into how to do this for our library. But you just redeem the code, and then you have to sign in with an account, just a free account. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I have too many Google accounts. And this is where it looks like the actual spread of the paper. You get, basic digital access for a limited amount of time, but there's no reason why you can't just go back and renew that access with a new code.
It will give you a code, it will give me a code, or just you because you have an Acton library card?
No, anybody can go on and do that. And I don't really understand, that's what we're looking how to do that for Mystic, because I'm not sure about pricing and all that. It seems, but anyway, it gives you, it kind of guides you through. It's the same digital account as if you subscribe to the paper. So I'm just going to say maybe later for now. I'm going to say maybe later again. Oh, I don't know. Thanks. Back to reading. Okay. And yeah, it looks like the paper.
It does.
You have all the section breakdowns at the top here. So yeah, I'll follow up if we get this, for our library. But for now, you don't need an Acton card or anything. You can just go on their website and click that redeem button, and it gives you 3-day access to, as far as I'm concerned, the whole publication.
But we're not residents of Acton, and is that still okay?
Yeah. I don't think it probably looks good for them to have more access, and my philosophy with it is if it's there and if it's available, why not use it? Especially now that so many libraries are offering stuff, digitally, Zoom programs. You don't have to be a resident of Mystic to attend one of our programs. So same philosophy.